Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
My favorite's when we're going to break, and we're not there yet, but I'm talking, and Chuck knows we're going to break, and he just disengages, sits back from his mic, takes his headset off, and I'm still talking.
Yeah, I need to stop doing that.
And he's on his phone.
That's not true. That is not true.
Like, I know you're rapping. I know you're about to land this plane, and I didn't care about your point to begin with, but I wish you to hurry up.
Hey, listen.
I'm indicative of the entire audience right now, Bo. Shut up.
I got to quit doing that.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "Let's turn on the Chuck and Bo show."
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Wow, what a weekend. What a weekend.
A lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the most incredibly busy overall sports weekend we've had in a while, and there's one story around here.
Bobby Petrino is the head coach of the Razorbacks again.
Now, those are words I did not suspect 12 years ago that we would ever hear, but here we are.
I didn't think you'd see the offensive coordinator hire.
Here we are.
And now Petrino, who's the last winning coach at Arkansas, as far as a tenured record, is back to coach again. That just happened. And we kind of talked about it last week. Monday could be a really interesting day for a variety of reasons. No matter the outcome of the game, it would just be a different direction depending on the outcome of the game. And, boy, that didn't take long.
Well, feel's a big part of it, and I've always maintained that when this time comes, you know that day. Sometimes you don't know until that day. But it had that feeling when we left Memphis. And by certainly halftime on Saturday, it was obvious what was going to happen. And, look, this is part of the business. It's the sad, distasteful part of the business. Coach Pitman knew this was coming. I mean, he knew it was coming. He left the stadium Saturday with the full knowledge that things like this happen. Things like this almost have to happen when you get to this point. I don't think Hunter Yurachek took any pleasure in doing what he did yesterday. In fact, I know that he didn't. I think he likes Sam Pittman very much. But there comes a point where, duty calls, and your job as the AD is to make the switch. And so he had to pull the trigger. And, Bobby Petrino was the most obvious choice. There was a time, and we've talked about it on this show, there was a time when T. Will probably would have been the successor if something like this had happened. But that time's passed. And Coach Petrino, I think, wants to be the coach. Not just now, but going forward.
Hunter actually mentioned it in his statement that he has expressed desire to be a candidate for the full-time job. I think if you were to ask Bobby right now what he wanted, and it wouldn't have been to get the job like this, because I think he wants the job long-term. And coming into the job in this situation is about as challenging a task as you can have if you're trying to be the long-term head coach. But what does Petrino have to do with 7 games left to be a serious candidate for the job, or does the record really impact that? I think Hunter understands the situation, and I don't know how much he'll weigh that into his decision on Petrino after the season, like long term. But obviously it goes beyond wins and losses, right? Like, what are you seeing? What kind of changes are being made? Is there reason to believe he could carry this thing forward? We did it back then. But today's world's a little bit different. Last time Petrino was a head coach in Power 5 football or Power 4 football was 2018, when he was fired 10 games into the season at Louisville. So what kind of Petrino are we getting now as a head coach back in a power conference job?
Well, as we saw Saturday, I don't even know where to begin in terms of how you improve the football team. There was so much that went wrong over the last couple of weeks. And There's a lot to correct right there, and a couple of tough practices and calling some guys in and chewing them out is not going to fix all that. I mean, I know sometimes people think that, hey, if you'll just be hard on them for a couple of days, everything will be all right, and it doesn't work that way. There are many, many issues that have to be dealt with. I'll say kind of what I said before. I think by the time we get to the Missouri game, we'll know. I think we'll know whether or not he should continue to be the head coach or whether or not it's time to go in a different direction. I think that'll be decided by what happens on the field. I do think it goes beyond wins and losses, but I don't think it goes beyond performance. I don't. Because you can lose a ball game and perform well and be better than you were the week before. That's a hard thing to stomach in our league, but you can do that. So I think, does he have to get to a bowl game to get the job? Well, I don't know. That's a big ask right now. I think we've got to see improvement. I think we've got to see reason to believe, as you said a minute ago. College sports is about selling hope. It's about raising money. It's about all those things that go way beyond the football field. And so can you do all those things with him as your head coach? Again, I just think what happens on the field is going to determine the answer to that.
We're going to take calls coming up, but a couple of things if you missed it. By the way, I don't think we're done seeing changes. I think we'll see more changes today.
We'll have changes more announced
significant
today,
changes.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
Yes. And Petrino,
the staff will look different.
Yep, and Juracek are meeting with the media at noon. If you missed it yesterday, early afternoon, right around lunch, the announcement was made that Pitman was going to be let go and that Petrino would be the interim coach. Hunter Juracek made a statement that I'll give you a couple lines from that was interesting to me. The goal for our football program is to be highly competitive within the Southeastern Conference and compete for a national championship. As we move forward in the process of finding our next head coach, I am certain we will be able to provide the necessary resources to our staff and team to reach our goals. We will begin a national search for the next head coach immediately, and that search will include Coach Petrino, who has expressed his desire to be a candidate for the full-time job. Hunter saying what he said there is basically, to me, saying we're going to fix the financial issue that we talked about at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. That was an interesting thing to have in the statement, and I don't think it's an accident.
Well, I don't think it is either. Are you saying it with certainty or are you saying it with hope? I'm not sure. Maybe the two are tied together. Maybe the selection of the coach and those things are all going to be hand in hand. But you better have both of them down pat. That's for sure.
Well, for some people, their strong opinion was that the reason they couldn't get the finances they needed in football, more support, was because people didn't believe in the leadership at the time. So with Petrino now in that spot, and we know how many people, like the day that Petrino came in as an offensive coordinator, I think everyone had in the back of their mind, this guy might end up being the head coach again. It either really believed that or it was in the back of your mind. And there is still an affection for a lot of people with Petrino because they associate winning at Arkansas with Bobby Petrino.
No question. Hey, we won a lot of ball games in.
21-5 over a 2-year period when he went out.
There were a lot of wins and a lot of happy days when he was the head coach, and I don't think we should lose sight of that. Nor should we lose sight of the fact that it was a different era, and a lot of times passed for him, for us. The game's changed, the kids have changed, the parents have changed. A lot of things are different. A lot of things have changed in 15 years, whether we want to admit it or not. So, can he come in and rally the troops as far as this season's concerned? Is it enough to get him the job moving forward? I'll say this: sometimes with an interim coach, like, for example, when Morris was fired and Lunny was the interim coach there for a couple of weeks, you knew you were easing into the process, so to speak. You knew there was going to be a legitimate search. None of us really knew who the coach was going to be. None of us in our heart of hearts really thought it was going to be Barry. even though I think a lot of people hope that it might be. I don't think anybody really thought that's how it would end. So there was you kind of eased into it. There's no easing into this. I promise you yesterday things were a lot different in that football building and around that Broyle Center.
He didn't ease into things.
I've seen the immediate change. I know how it works. I was there.
He doesn't walk around the office go, hey, maybe we should, and thinking about, like, I'll get back to you on that.
No. I think he has a very, very detailed plan in his mind.
I think moves have been made.
And but that's one of the things that made him good. It's one of the things that made him good. But again, the task is much more difficult now than it was then. And it sure would be nice to have 5 or 6 in-state players that are future NFLers all come out at the same time the way it did back then. That'd be the biggest help of all, I think, if we're really honest about it.
Let's get some calls in.
All right.
Right out of the gate here, there's a few thoughts from us. By the way, it's a $9.3 million buyout and another $1 million for a retention bonus that he had on top of that. So you're looking at a $10.3 million buyout for Pitman. Steven in Nashville, you're up first. It's 6:13 on a Monday morning with Bobby Petrino as the head coach. You there, Steven? All right, let's try Melvin on line 3. Melvin in Sheridan, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sad to see a man get fired, but we all knew it was coming. What I'd like to say is let's don't make Bobby a savior or anything else. He's got to get the money behind him. It don't matter who the next coach is; they've got to get the money behind them. That's been the biggest problem, and we all know it. And if he can't get the money behind him, we need to move on and get the man who can. And I hope he does well. But I think he's got a big line ahead of him, and it's going to be tough. That's my comments. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Melvin. Big picture, money is important. Money is very important, big picture. But you don't have to have extra money to play harder. I mean, you don't have to have some big booster come in and say, I'm going to give you $100 million to go to Tennessee and play with effort. That's free. And you ought to be able to go do that. And that's what I think that people want to see. They want to see fire. They want to see fight. They want to see a lot of the things that have been missing. It's again going to be a challenge, but I think those are the things you can do now. You can't replenish your roster in the middle of the season, but a lot of the things that are going on and went on Saturday, you can fix without any added money into your NIL.
Cecil and Fort Smith, good morning. Chuck and Bo Show. Cecil. Man.
Yes.
All right, Cecil, you're up.
How y'all doing? I was definitely at the game. Had some pretty good seats. Man, I tell you, it was uphill. As soon as when we kicked the field goal, the game to me was like they came straight down and scored. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And we was just so out of sync. And I was telling Doug, man, Coach Pitman, this is his last game. I don't think it'll last till Monday. I was in Charleston working, and I thought about it and got 2 calls. He said, man, you was right. He's gone. But, I mean, I think Bobby Petrino, when he was there the first time, when he was here the first time, it was vacation for me. It was a lot of joy. Where they went, I went. I enjoyed him. And I know he enjoyed coaching at Arkansas, and I know he wants the coaching job back, and I know he can do the job. I mean, it's about controlling decisions, and being an offense coordinator, you don't get all of that. You can call the plays. Some of them don't even get to call the exact plays that they want to call. They get overruled at times, but we'll see. Just like Chuck said, it's going to take some money to replace. We do need better players. But it's gonna take a better coach, man. And I know Petrino can do the job. And another thing before I hang up, Petrino is one of the best offensive. He's top of the line offensive coordinator. He's top of the line coach. So that way we don't even have to go out and look for a coach. We can take the money that we get after we settle up with him, and get some better players. And I'm sure we lose a lot of interstate players. I don't get it. I think that guy from Fayetteville went to Minnesota. I watched him play on ESPN last week. He's a pretty good quarterback.
Drake, yeah.
Left-handed guy, Chuck, Bo.
Right-handed, Drake Lindsey. Yeah, he went to Minnesota, played well, gave them a big win over Rutgers in a tight game. Rutgers is better than they've been in the past, and that was a big day for Drake Lindsey. I know a lot of people that saw him grow up were excited to watch the game. Brian and Ozark, good morning.
Morning. Hey, I've been saying for 4 years that Pitman needs to be fired, and it finally came true.
I finally listened to you, Brian. You know, I was talking to Hunter Saturday, and he said, you know, that Brian guy in Ozark.
He's had it right the whole time.
We should have been listening to him from the beginning.
Yeah, well, here's something else. Even though he got fired, that was Bobby's pathetic offense Saturday as well. And Travis Williams' pathetic defense, they also need to both be fired because Petrino's not going to be the savior.
What do you think, Brian? Tell us what you think about You've got the answers for Arkansas football.
What needs to happen?
Just tell us what should happen.
What would Texas do?
Well, first of all, Texas would never had a 6-6 coach.
Wow.
I mean,
I can list a few of them for you.
That would never happen there.
Tom Herman.
David
Look at Charlie Strong and Tom.
David
Tom Herman was 27-16 and got fired.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, what we're at? Let's go back to Arkansas. Just tell us what should happen here. Everybody's just dying to know.
Your whole coaching staff should be fired. Matter of fact,
the whole staff.
Players are weak on your players are weak on both sides of the ball.
Should they finish the season or just like?
I think probably
walk off the field. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah,
it's
what are we doing?
The 6:19. More of your thoughts coming up on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. It's Monday morning.
Yeah, what's your point?
You want my point?
Yes, I asked for it. Make it.
Point.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is here for when you want real action, and the wait is over. Live racing is back. Every weekend brings big moments, big crowds, and your chance to feel the thrill of a big win. The holiday racing season begins Friday, December 12th, and runs through January 4th. Then, the excitement returns with the classic racing season, January 30th through May 2nd. It's racing, it's winning, it's everything you've been waiting for. Oaklawn Hot Springs. Join the fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When it comes to watching games, nobody does it like walk-ons. Over 60 TVs at every location, and the food and drinks win. Mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine like po' boys and gumbo, plus fan favorites like the best burger you can get anywhere, and more draft beers and cocktails than you can count. Incredible food, wonderful service, and a viewing experience like none other. Walk-On Sports Bistro. We live for this.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
I love a day or weekend at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark, and members enjoy it all. State-of-the-art practice facilities, food, beverages, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, tennis and pickleball courts, and they can even book you an exclusive fly fishing trip. There's no initiation fee, and for out-of-towners, a membership is only $185 a month. It's Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. It's home away from home. The two best guys in mediocre sports radio.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
when's the last time you wrote someone a handwritten note?
It's been a while, I have to admit. I mean, I've sent a lot of what I consider
Birthday
to be
cards.
meaningful texts. But I have...
The Chuck and Bo Show.
First Security Bank's the official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show, and no matter what kind of day you're having, they're still going to help you bank better at First Security Bank. They're all in on local support, convenient locations, friendly local banking. That's how you bank better. Check them out online, fsbank.com. First Security Bank, member FDIC. This is a heck of a reaction Monday. Bobby Petrino is now the Arkansas head coach. And Steven in Nashville, you're on. Good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're up.
Okay, I got a couple points. Then I'll hang up and let y'all see which one. Sabotage. I've heard several people, the way in Memphis and stuff, how we did really good the first half, and in the second half we blew it. A lot of people think Petrino sabotaged Sam just to get the job.
Wow.
Second of all, I've heard that Sam got an extra $3 million for getting fired now and still waiting at the end of the year. This year was already gone. So why couldn't we wait and save the $3 million on the buyout? And third of all is a lot of people I've talked to wants to get a young coach that's in a smaller school that's proven themselves and give them a chance of still going out there and getting Bobby or Gruden or somebody that's going to cost us a lot of money that ain't a guarantee when some young person.
All right. We lost your
We
signal.
got the gist of it,
but we
though.
got all 3 points. Which do you want to? Let's handle them from backwards to forwards.
All right.
Because the whole thing, it started backwards to begin with. Go get a younger coach. Well, I don't think the age of the coach is the importance. I think how they navigate today's college football world is the utmost important number one factor in who the next coach long term is going to be. They had no choice. There was no waiting for more games this season. If you were at the game or if you watched the game, it was impossible to move another day with Coach Pitman at the helm.
Well, they would have saved the money if his record had dipped below 500 before the season ended.
I think most people were confident that would happen.
Yes, there were people obviously
and that's
that
since
felt
the new deal started.
Yeah.
Not
None of
his
that stuff
overall
matters
record.
now,
Right.
though. None of that stuff matters now.
But there is a question of why didn't you wait?
Yeah.
And there's just sometimes you can't wait. Sometimes it's way more expensive than paying the buyout.
Look, everyone left that stadium Saturday knowing what was going to happen, including Sam Pittman. This is how this business works, and look, it doesn't make it any less sad. And I think the world of Sam Pittman.
Same.
I just think the world of the guy. But he's not broke. He's had a great career. He's made a lot of money. And now he's going to have an opportunity to enjoy the fruits of his labor, which I hope he does every day.
Me too.
Because that's just what I hope for him. But yes, it was time.
Yeah, and he knew that.
Sure he did.
And it just didn't work. But he did restore this football program from a high school program back to a college program, and a program that won 9 games and went to a bowl game. If you want to talk about what happened with his extension and what happened after all that, and it didn't really work, that's fine. But he did do some things that gave Arkansas a chance to compete again.
Guys, he brought us back from the dead. I heard people say, oh, this is like Chad Morris. Guys, it's nowhere close.
Oh, my gosh.
I've been in the building for the whole deal. And let me just tell you something. It's nowhere close. Notre Dame beat the hell out of the Razorbacks Saturday, but so did Western Kentucky and North Texas. I mean, every once in a while that reel of that North Texas punt return will pop up. And, we don't have to go back very far to be reminded. So I know it didn't turn out the way people had hoped it would. But the truth is it turned out the way it often does. And there aren't very many coaches. In fact, I would defy you to find one beyond Saban right now who gets to go out on their own terms and who gets to ride off into the sunset. Most of them get out of coaching because the run's up. And if they're smart enough to know it, they get out ahead of the posse.
And most don't.
And most don't.
Almost every coach of all time gets fired.
That's right.
If not every coach, at some point.
The winningest coaches in college football were fired.
It's a results-driven business.
That's just how it works.
It's a results-driven business, and this is what happens. But look, the idea that Petrino sabotaged something.
No, that's ridiculous.
Let me just explain something to you. That just doesn't happen. But the other thing about this whole situation, Petrino didn't want this situation. He didn't want the job right now. He would rather have had this happen, if you're looking at it from his perspective, if it was going to happen. He would rather have had this happen at the end of the year and been a candidate then and have his offense have done really well, and that was the shining spot on the team, because that's what you're supposed to do as the offensive coordinator. And then at the end of the year, let that merit be the reason he was a candidate for the job. He's been handed a really difficult situation to try and go be the longtime head coach. This is how do you can't flip your culture like you can in the offseason. Mid-season, 7 games to go. That's a really tall task. You can't change your roster like you can in the offseason. So the idea that he would sabotage offensively to help get the head coach fired and then put himself in an unenviable position for what he's actually trying to do long-term doesn't make any sense.
The plan was to win 8 or 9 games, Pitman retires, and Petrino gets the job. That was the plan.
I don't know why I even explained that.
But
it's just so ridiculous.
But, well, here's and I said this at the very beginning. It's only natural people at the beginning wondered how it would work. And I can see why people would wonder, what the relationship had been like throughout all this. I said then, and I believe now, Petrino's from a coaching family. He's been a coach all his life. He respects the coaching protocol. And I can tell you there's never been one moment where Sam Pitman, and I feel pretty confident in saying this, I don't think there's been a moment where Sam Pitman felt like Bobby Petrino was trying to sabotage what he was doing. I don't think that happened. Look, until they fumbled at Ole Miss, he was the difference. When we would talk about, I can just tell you, just us in the booth during the games and probably people watching at home talking amongst themselves. When Arkansas looked like they were going to win that game, it was because of what Petrino was doing with the offense. He was the difference. He was the winning edge. And then they fumbled, and everything changed. I'll submit to you the fumble at Ole Miss had more to do with the fate of this head coach than what happened at Memphis. That fumble at Ole Miss crushed spirits. And I'm not sure what happened at Memphis would have happened if that had not happened at Ole Miss. That's water under the bridge. Doesn't matter now. I will say this. You can't change your roster, but you can begin changing your culture. You can begin changing your culture now. I suspect we're already a day into that, truth be told. But you've just got to get more out of guys than they've given so far. And that's easier said than done.
Got to hit the break. Right back with your calls in a minute at 6:32. See, this is what the Chuck and Bo Show is. You just show up and have coffee with you.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Guys, regardless of our age, feeling good is something we all want. That's what the Sweat No Edge is all about. It's where health, confidence, and peak performance come together. We all face challenges like low energy, hair loss, who's looking at me, stubborn weight, and skin health. The good news is we can do something about it. Get your free evaluation today and see where you are. Chuck and I have both done it and are better off for it. Log on to sweatnomcosmetic.com and click on the Sweat No Edge. Today's been a strange day.
Yeah, we've had some struggles here. Let's just be blunt. Can we be blunt?
Well, it's 50-50 at best.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Chuck loves to network and hobnob before the game. I'm just kidding. He avoids people at all costs.
No, that's not true. That is not true. You make me sound like you're just an antisocial guy that stands over off to the side and says, "You people stay away from me." It's not like that at all.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Well, this is certainly an occasion. And at Blakeman's Fine Jewelry, it's about occasions. And that's how they want it to be. Life's journeys are full of milestones and goals and celebrations and just things to remember. And that's why it's more than jewelry. It's about your story at Blakeman's. Beautiful showroom there, over 8,500 square feet of retail space that you won't see anywhere else. And nothing like this unless you go to, like, New York. I mean, it's incredible. But at Blakeman's, they're going to take care of you, help you with that purple bag, and it's still undefeated. So we can talk about who the head coach long-term is going to be, but you can always have a win with that purple bag with Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. All right, where are we going next? Hunter in Florida. It's the Chuck and Bo Show on quite a Reaction Monday. Hunter, go ahead. Arthur's in Vermont. Arthur, good morning.
Good morning. I like seeing Lou Holtz in the Razorback garb.
Are you finding the positives from Saturday?
I am. Now I didn't really care for the booing. People are going to do what they want to do, but there's nothing wrong with just being quiet. I get that. What else was I going to say? I know I had something profound.
Search for it.
I did. I think they got a couple of bum calls on that first drive. Not that it mattered, but I mean, if you look at Notre Dame's roster, they're stacked. I mean, it couldn't have been the worst game to try to save your job. Like, talent-wise, they go three deep, and they're better at every position. Arguably, people with this is like sacrilegious. I mean, they might be as good or better even at the quarterback position. And not to mention, it's like they go three deep. It was like you couldn't have picked a worse opponent for it. But with that being said, that's probably the best roster we will see till the end of the season. Hopefully, the powers that be will make a wise choice on the coaching search. And, we got a basketball season to look forward to, right, fellas?
Yeah. I don't think anybody's ready for that. I mean, I'm not. I want to see this play out. I want to see what happens here. This is theater. Bobby Petrino back at the helm. This is absolute theater. Television show type stuff.
It feels like we've got a new season beginning because it felt like the season ended Saturday. Didn't it kind of have that feel like, man, it felt like losing to Missouri at the end of the year. Like, oh, my God.
It felt like the season ended in the second quarter.
Yes, it did. And now we've got an open week, and it's like a new season.
Part of me wondered, honestly. I mean, not really, but sort of. If like the entire coaching staff would be back for the second half.
Seriously,
I
the
was
way
just
the
like,
first half ended, the way it was just. This was the first time that I felt like, I hate to use that word quit because I'm not out there, and I mean those guys are still getting popped while we're saying they're quitting.
It sure looked and felt like.
But it felt like it. It sure did. Yes.
Walnut Ridge is where we find Zach. Zach, you were on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys. I just had a couple questions and maybe some comments, I guess, about the game and season so far. But, man, the main thing that's bothering me is we're begging for money. We're asking the state for all this money, but when we spend $2.5 million extra by firing a coach early. It'd be one thing if it's a coordinator maybe, but what's the head coach really going to change other than, I guess, locker room vibes? Because we still have the same OC, still have the same DC. Special teams ain't bothering me, I guess.
Sometimes you can't afford not to. You can't afford to, but you can't afford not to. And that's when you're between a rock and a hard place, and that's where we are right now. But I just think they got to the point where they couldn't afford not to.
Yeah, I mean, if you were at the game,
really,
you were sitting there.
If you're a fan of the Razorbacks right now,
you know,
and someone came to you and said, at halftime, you're going to have to endure an entire season of this so we can save $3 million. I mean, are you insane? I mean, come on. I don't think that would have flown.
Dylan is in Whitehall. Dylan, good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all doing this morning?
We're good, man. Fire away.
Last week, there was a guy, I can't remember his name. The topic of John Gruden came up about how he sucked as a coach. He's not proven. He's not a winner. And Bo, I was watching it on YouTube, or Chuck, he kind of just rolled his eyes and scoffed a little bit. And I was just wondering y'all's opinion on that. I mean, the man eats, sleeps, and breathes football, had the Raiders trending in the right direction. I'm just wondering who y'all think maybe be the next man, whether it be Bobby. I know he's got a hard schedule, or Chucky, or whoever. Y'all are up there and around it. Just who do y'all think?
I don't think it's going to be John Gruden. I'll put it that way. I don't think it's going to be John Gruden.
I like Gruden.
I don't dislike Gruden, but I don't think he's even in the mix.
He's a great television personality, and I'm not saying he can't coach, but I think what the point in all of that is, you got, look at the Belichick situation. You got to have somebody that understands the state and that understands today's college football. And for me, personally, I'd want somebody that's in that.
I want a college football coach.
I want somebody that's in that world right now. Mm-hmm. David's in Searcy. David, go ahead.
Good morning, guys. Chuck, I have to say, man, you deserve a raise after having to call the second half of that game, man.
Combat pay, man. We deserve combat pay.
Oh, gosh. I was thinking about you the whole time. I thought, oh, man, how would you like to do that?
What was the statement I heard as I left the game before it was over, listening to Chuck in the car? And I think it was saying there was very little resistance there would be an understatement.
Yeah.
And that was just how, I felt for you too.
Would you leave in the first half?
You honestly deserve a medal for just the Chad Morris years.
Oh gosh!
But golly,
hey, they pay me either way. I'm not complaining.
Just let me say this real quick. I know everybody wants to talk today. Bobby didn't sabotage anything. We found out that we were not good enough to block the defensive line from Notre Dame, and that didn't surprise anybody. And all of a sudden, the secondary that was ranked 132nd in the country in 4 games was covering everybody. Who expected that crap? And nobody expected us. Chuck, I'll go ahead and say it. Nobody expected us. Anytime you can run 2 runs up the middle for a touchdown from the 10 or 15-yard line, and we don't have any players in there anywhere, yes, they quit. And so we don't need Bobby to take over. We don't need Gruden, and I really like both of those gentlemen as far as coaches. We need to get this stink out of the room and bring in a new guy, all new coaches. I believe that's the only way we can move forward. Thanks.
6:45. Good morning. Chuck has thoughts. I'm going to have some coffee and let you guys roll for a while. This is going to be good.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Football season's here, and Flight by Yuengling is the light beer built for game days. Tastes like a Yuengling, but it's a light beer, and only 95 calories. Flight raises the bar for what a light beer should be, and now it comes in a 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle and skinny cans. Perfect for tailgates, watch parties, or just kicking back after the game. Pick it up at your favorite store or ask your bartender. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
Some moments call for more than just a win. They call for unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you're not just buying a diamond. You're creating an experience that starts the moment you walk through the door. Their newly remodeled space is absolutely stunning, and Cafe B has a personal touch you won't find anywhere else. Their in-house diamond expert makes it easy to find the perfect piece for any occasion, and that purple bag is still undefeated when it comes to saving the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
Cutting corners is generally a bad idea. And when it comes to roofing, it's real bad. That's why Teamwork Roofing and Construction uses only the best materials, like Malarkey shingles, which perform better, protect longer, and are more sustainable. Residential or commercial. Got a complicated job? They've got the certified crews ready to deliver on time and on budget. You need a roof that's built on quality and powered by Teamwork. Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Log on to teamworkbuilt.com and get a quote today. That's teamworkbuilt.com. WT Equipment is overstocked on new Bobcat equipment. The lots are packed and ready to move with special fall deals you don't want to miss. Bobcat is the industry leader, tough, reliable, and built for any job. Take your pick from compact track loaders, skid steers, excavators, and more, all backed by WT Equipment's trusted service and support. And don't forget, WT Equipment's Fall on the Lot community event is Saturday, October 4th from 12 to 4 p.m. Food, games, prizes, and family fun only at WT Equipment.
I don't need Chat GTP. I've got Chuck GTP.
Amen. The Chuck and Bo Show.
By the way, good morning. We just kind of jumped in, and we're coffee deep. And hey, everybody,
morning, Bart.
Welcome in.
Edward.
I smell the bacon cooking. It's going to be a good day.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I don't think we've heard from Bart. Bart, how are you? Locks went 2-1. I saw.
They did.
Yeah. Indiana.
Yeah,
you kind of got rooked on that.
Yeah, wasn't a great.
The line moved.
The line moved significantly.
Now that quarterback would have messed you up anyway,
right,
with that safety.
Right.
But
right.
2-1, good weekend.
2-1. Had a good overall weekend.
That's right.
Alabama did in fact beat Georgia.
They
by
did.
the way, just want to point that out.
Just as
well.
you predicted. Hey, let me talk about Weichert Realtors, a Griffin company, before we go back to the phones. You know, I'm going through a situation right now where I'm selling a relative's home, and I'll tell you, Weichert Realtors, the Griffin company, when you don't know what you're doing, it sure is nice to have somebody on your side who does, and they're always there. They serve, and they don't just help you sell your home in this case, and they don't just help you buy your dream home. They serve as they do that, and that's one of the things that I like about them. It's one of the things that attracted me to them, one of the things that I hope that they're a lifetime partner, because that's the way they treated me. I know that's the way they've treated you, Bo, and it's really the way they treat everyone. They're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington and Benton counties, Fort Smith, Branson. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can log on to WeikerGriffin.com.
Peace of mind to be able to hand your kids off when they're buying their first house.
That's right.
And know they're going to be taken care of was something
I'm
that
sure.
was great for me. Heath and Cabot, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, what's up,
I got to
Heath?
say, listen, I was at that game, and, 30 minutes prior, the stadium still wasn't full, and I was kind of looking around, and, I was sitting down. They got closer. They introduced Pitman. Nobody cheered. They introduced Petrino. Nobody cheered. They kind of botched the whole Lou Holtz thing. People were still getting in their seats. But, that being said, I sat down, and I had a horrible, horrible feeling. And I told my wife, I said, this is going to be a blowout. I said, nobody cares. There's no energy in this stadium. I'm telling you, man, listen. It was full at kickoff. It was full at kickoff.
I stayed from the kickoff to the end, and I got to tell you, what I saw was the difference in a playoff team and then a team that's not even close. And I was a little bit different. You know, listen, I love Trey Biddy. I really like that guy. I love his walk and talks, but I was a little indifferent because he didn't give Notre Dame much credit because, yeah, the Razorbacks quit, but the Notre Dame Fighting Irish made them quit. Like, they wasn't even competitive after really the first quarter. I mean, that's the best I've seen the Irish look all year, but I'm telling you guys, that's the difference in a playoff caliber team and a team that's just there.
Well, Heath, I think, you think Ole Miss is a playoff caliber team?
Yeah, they're probably a playoff caliber team.
I mean, I just think it was a lot of circumstances. I disagree with you, by the way. I thought the environment was amazing.
It was at the start.
At the kickoff.
And that added
the
to the
student
disappointment.
section. And then it was like everybody realized, well, this ain't happening. And everything they got excited about, the air was out of the balloon, and that student section went from full 2 hours before kickoff to empty at halftime.
You know, normally if they play at home at 11, I'll leave the house about 8:30, and, I mean, it's just smooth sailing into the stadium. There was a lot more traffic Saturday early. I knew it was going to be a big crowd at the start. I hoped they'd all be there at the end, and they weren't. One thing about Notre Dame, they are not as big up front. I mean, when they run out on the field, they don't look like Alabama and Georgia. Their skill players are great. I don't know if Notre Dame, honestly, is as good up front as some of the teams they're going to play on both sides of the ball. We didn't really know after watching Saturday. We don't really know.
Texas A&M went in there and beat them.
Yeah, and they do have really good skill people, though. They're really, really good skill people.
Look, this was hard to say how good Notre Dame is because Arkansas was completely lost
they didn't put
on
up
defense.
much of a fight.
Completely lost. I mean, Arkansas and Notre Dame were running some of the same concepts, and Notre Dame was all over the Arkansas offense, and when they ran the same play on the other side, the Arkansas defense was completely lost.
It reminded me of the USC game out there in L.A. when they went through a period where they just did whatever they wanted to do and nobody fought back. I saw that Saturday.
More of your calls coming up almost 7 o'clock as Bobby Petrino steps in as the interim head coach.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
When something goes wrong, a car wreck, an injury, mounting debt, or getting denied the help you deserve, it's hard to know where to turn.
That's when Cadell Reynolds shows up. This is a team that fights for Arkansans. Personal injury, disability, bankruptcy, they handle it all. And they know how to get results.
You've got enough to deal with. Don't try to figure it out alone.
Call Cadell Reynolds, 866-314-3728, or visit CadellReynolds.com.
Cadell Reynolds, make the right call. Chevy of Fayetteville has over 200 new vehicles on the lot right now. So if you're in the market, now's the time to make a move. That includes the brand new Chevy Traverse, the Chevy Trax, and all the favorites like the Tahoes and Suburbans. And for truck lovers, there are Silverados in stock and ready for immediate delivery. So go see Chris, Mark, Denver, and the team at Chevy of Fayetteville. Together, let's drive.
The voice of the Razorbacks is Chuck Barrett, and he chose McDonald Eye Associates for his recent cataract surgery.
I went to McDonald Eye. I can see in a way I've not seen in a long time. And I'm looking forward to this football season because of that. Your eyes are a big deal. I don't care if you're a sports play-by-play guy or what you do. You have to have trust. My trust was developed because I knew they were listening to me.
For your best vision, trust McDonald Eye. Online and same-day appointments at mcdonaldeye.com.
So I spent yesterday, you mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The Chuck and Bo Show. Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
I like the guac that they make at your table.
I like homemade.
When they bring it out.
When they bring it out.
What is it about them making it at your table that you enjoy?
It's the freshness part of it. It's fresh.
It's fresh.
You know, I love to be fresh. You know that. I love it fresh. You know how I am.
I love to be fresh.
You know.
Who doesn't?
I mean, that's...
Who doesn't? Fresh and clean all day. Chuck Barrett. What's your story? Well, I like fresh and clean.
That's right.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this much.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "What's heard on the Chuck and Bo Show?"
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
I understand. I mean, I get it. If I was a fan, I'd be mad at me too. You know, I'd be frustrated as hell with me. But here's what I'll say. As long as I'm the head coach at Arkansas, I'm going to fight my butt off to get the guys out there. And how long that is, that's not, it is partly up to me because of what we put on the field. But that's not my call. And if I'm worried about that all the time, I won't be able to do as good a job as I possibly can. But I will say this, if I was the fans, I'd be mad at me too. Hell, I'm mad at me, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it was painful to watch. I watched the post-game press conference, and it was tough.
We taped the television show knowing full well it wasn't going to air.
Yeah.
At least I didn't think it would.
Yeah.
It's the second time we've done that over the
We
years.
knew, I think he knew, going into the game, and we kind of alluded to this last week. I mean, it was going to be an interesting game and a huge game, one way or another. Meaning there was probably going to be a change if it didn't go well, or if it went well and they won the game, who knows what could happen. It's hard to think about the first two losses and then watch that performance against Notre Dame. And I'm not taking anything away from Notre Dame. They're obviously a really good team. But it's like Arkansas has deteriorated since the Ole Miss fumble. And then they came out and played Memphis, and the back half of that game, they sort of deteriorated. And then in this game, they never really got going. And that's, you know, when you watch that unfold, given everything that you already knew was at stake coming into the season, and this is what we talked about all offseason, is it would play out. I didn't expect that to happen like that on Saturday. I did not expect to see that kind of performance. I didn't necessarily think they were going to win the game, but there was no reason, based on what we'd seen so far, that this team wouldn't compete.
I have to be honest and tell you that I did not think they would and did not know that they would be this bad defensively. I didn't think that they would be great, but I thought they'd be able to get a stop or two. And right now, they just can't get any stop.
How many punts have they forced, Bart, if you can find this? I was asked this a few times over the weekend. Since the Ole Miss game, like starting with the Ole Miss game, Ole Miss, Memphis, Notre Dame, how many punts, I know it'll take a second, how many punts has Arkansas forced?
See, I went into this game thinking if Arkansas could force 3 or 4 punts, they could win the game. Now, I don't know what it got to in the second half. I mean, it was so out of hand in the second half, they might have punted 2 or 3 times. I forget. I was just trying to get out of there, too. I'm not going to lie to you. But I was just hoping they'd get to the end myself.
I mean, it's when the interest of the reason we like something like sports is because of the interest, right? There's some like intrigue in what's going to happen. How many times did Notre Dame punt?
Notre Dame punted 0 times.
Okay, they've forced 7 punts
between the Ole Miss and Memphis games.
Yeah, I said 3 to 5. I guess the first half they forced a few punts in the Memphis game. Interesting. It didn't feel like that many.
Well, Arkansas did at least get Notre Dame's punting unit out on the field.
They ran the fake. Boy, was that not a perfectly executed fake?
Oh, well.
I mean, my God.
You don't have anybody on the edge.
No, you're right.
You have 0 contained.
There was very little resistance.
He had 3 options, incling he could have run it himself.
I'll tell you this. A lot of Notre Dame fans were not happy with that fake punt call. Like they were like, what are we doing here?
Well, I mean, whatever. Roger's in Fayetteville.
Just for whatever it's worth.
Roger, good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to talk about 2 subjects. Number one is what Petrino can do to move forward. And before we talk about that, I want to make an observation that Learfield being presented the contract to find NIL or the stadium naming, I think that's a real positive move for changing the narrative of everything else on the football team. I think that there was a big letdown when Hunter made the comment at the Little Rock Touchdown Club, and I think it may have had an effect on the team as they started listening. Yeah, we don't have the money, and I don't think Sam Pitman was really bought into we don't have the money because he didn't have the money. But you look at some of the other coaches in the SEC, Alabama coach just said, I'm done with this. This ain't the college football. And there's just a big thing just from the announcements and the publicity of that. But I think there's a hope that Coach Petrino pulls out a couple of boulders and sledgehammers like he did when he was head coach and just tell everybody, this is how you win. You just got to keep punching. You got to keep punching. You got to keep punching. It's more important now that they get that. I'm beating my head, and I love the fact that he had boulders and sledgehammers for Ryan Mallett and all of his teams to go out there and just keep pecking away and trying to break down a boulder. That's all I got to say.
All right.
I'd like to hear your comments.
Yeah, thanks, Roger. I look at this like when you're playing golf and it's not going well, and instead of realizing in that moment you're going to have a terrible score for the day, you kind of like draw a line on the scorecard and what can I do from here? This is a reset, and it'll be interesting, and it's a challenge to say it's a massive understatement to say this is a challenge. But also, Petrino's a guy that makes sudden, quick changes decisively, and the mood will change over there. How long does it take to change the effort and attitude and culture? Because it didn't look like that existed like it has to on Saturday.
Well, the one thing that I think is different about this situation than a lot of them is that there are 7 games left in the regular season. I mean, lots of times when you get to an interim coach, there's a game or 2 left, and you're just trying to get to the finish line. There's 7 games out there. There's going to be a full body of work. It's almost like a second season is beginning. And Bobby Petrino has said he wants to be the head coach beyond just the interim period. So if you want to be the head coach beyond the interim period, in this case, you've got 2 months. It's not like 2 weeks. You got 2 months. So I would suspect he will come in, and I don't think it's going to be business as usual. No, I don't think he's going to come in there and, start slamming doors and chewing everybody out and saying this gets better now.
People are going to get fired.
Yes. Look, there are going to be staff changes.
Today.
There will be staff changes. Some of them I suspect we'll find out about later today if we're being real honest.
That's right.
But that's part of it. That always happens. Whether you've hired the meanest coach or the nicest coach, there's going to be a full staff turnover. And that's just the way it works. Now, the full staff turnover probably won't come until the season ends. But if you are auditioning for the job, you've got to come in and show them how you're going to do the job. And, we all wonder, what's Bobby Petrino like now as opposed to 10, 15 years ago? All of us are different. I'm different than I was 10 or 15 years ago. You are, and Edward was like in elementary school back then. So I'm sure he's changed. People change over a period of time, and everyone wonders what he's going to be like, and I wonder too.
What do you want to hear from Hunter and Bobby today when they have this noon press conference? Because I'll tell you what I think a lot of fans and what I want to hear. I want to hear, let's change the narrative. Let's talk about, like Hunter said in his statement, that we're going to get the resources necessary to compete in the SEC and for a national championship. And what do you want to hear from Bobby? Set the tone for what a new beginning looks like. And that starts today with how you present yourself and communicate with fans. You can go back to what Hunter said, not like it at the touchdown club, but he was, I think, just speaking some truth. But at the same time, you got to change that. Well, you got to change the reality of your football program if you really want to be where you say you want to go.
You need to be good at Tennessee because all eyes are going to be on you. And that's not fair, but that's how it is. And your performance on the field is what's going to, that's what's going to cement your status in people's minds.
We'll take more calls when we come back. We're lining them up, and we'll get to them on the Chuck and Bo Show. 877-377-6963. We're brought to you in part by Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Spent some time with those guys at the game, and man, it was a good crew to be around, but not the outcome we wanted. When it comes to like metal roofing or tough roofs or any job, big slopes, complicated projects, Teamwork Roofing and Construction has certified crews in all those areas, and they only use the best materials. We've told you about what kind of people you're going to work with. They're going to communicate well. You can trust them. They're going to show up on time, on budget, and leave a great job site behind. Teamworkbuilt.com is the website to check out a quote today. If you're maybe doing insurance, you got some re-roof you need, make sure they're one of your quotes. Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Teamworkbuilt.com. Built on quality. Powered by Teamwork.
Bo.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
High school sports in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley have never had a bigger stage. I'm Melissa Orange, host of the Varsity Vibe podcast, and every week we'll be bringing you the stories, highlights, and moments that matter most to our communities. Don't miss a beat. Subscribe to our newsletter, check out the Varsity Vibe podcast, and follow us on social media for the latest scores and spotlight features. Get it all at varsityvibearkansas.com.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
Are your gutters ready for fall? Leaves are coming, and that means it's time to protect your home. At Hogtroff Gutters, they install high-quality leaf guards that actually work. Don't waste money on the cheap guards from big box stores that clog up, and don't get stuck paying triple the price with those big national companies. With Hogtroff, you get the best of both worlds. Professional installation, premium aluminum, and stainless steel guards, as well as a 20-year warranty. Give them a call today to schedule your free inspection, or visit hoggutters.com.
There's simply not a better shopping experience than Macadoodles. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Whether you're stocking up for a party, updating your bar, or just grabbing your favorites, Roger and the team are always there to help. Make the smart choice. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
You hear that? You hear that?
Back to Save Sports Radio.
That's special.
you got to match Chuck Barrett's intensity. I mean, when the guy's in the booth, he's a different kind of cat.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
877-377-6963. Bobby Petrino is the interim coach. They've bought Sam Pitman out. It's north of $10 million when you include the retention bonus, about $10.3 million for him. We signed a new contract after the 2021 season, a 5-year deal. Bobby Petrino is Arkansas's last winning coach as far as the tenure of a coach. He's the last winning coach as the head coach at Arkansas, 34-17. Arkansas is 69-96 since he was the head coach.
We've said many times that college sports, the business is selling hope. And this morning, I do think, now I'm not saying there's an avalanche of hope all of a sudden. I'm just saying that I think people are hopeful because of the numbers you just cited.
Rick's and Lowell. Rick, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hey, appreciate the show. Hey, and I know there's people out there dancing on the rooftop that Bobby Petrino's the interim head coach. But as Chuck said a while ago, this is his rehearsal if there is to be a second Bobby Petrino era. But the last 3 games was not a very good rehearsal for Bobby Petrino and the offense because they've scored 13 points in 3 games in the second half. If Bobby Petrino is the answer, why hasn't his offense been performing the last 3 games in the second half?
It's a fair question.
And then also, And then also is when we say there's going to be some people fired, is your assumption that Travis Williams is going to be one of them?
That would be my assumption, yeah.
I'll have to listen.
Yeah, I don't foresee Travis Williams being the defensive coordinator. In fact, he may already know that, and I suspect we'll hear that later today. And I don't think that'll be the only change. To the question about Petrino's offense, I'm not going to make excuses for the offense, but I will say this, and I think Brandon Marcello said it on our show a few weeks ago. And when you have a team where one side of the ball is inept, it's like having a broken leg and putting all your pressure on the other leg, and eventually that leg gives out a little bit. I just feel like when they looked so out of sync to me against Notre Dame in a way they really haven't looked before, maybe a little bit in the Memphis game. But I do think it affects the way that you play offense when you feel like you've got to score every single possession. Like it's harder to get in a rhythm. There's so much pressure on everybody. You can't make a mistake at all. There's no recovering. And then on the other side of it, defensively, they can take all the chances they want to take because they know you're not going to stop them.
They can fake a punt in their own territory because they're so certain. No, you're right. I mean, and I do think particularly in this game, it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. But I sort of felt that in the Memphis game also, that because sometimes we say, they feel like they've got to score every time. Well, the score every time is a little bit of an embellishment. It's not an embellishment right now. Saturday, for example, for Arkansas to have been even at halftime, they would have had to score on their first 6 possessions. Touchdowns. So, yeah, there is a lot of pressure involved in that. It's a team game, and one side, there's got to be a balance there. It sounds simple, but the offense has got to help the defense and vice versa. And when one side's really bad, you get really out of sync.
Bard, did you play the raffle? Did you play the Razorback Raffle? RazorbackRaffle.com. Did you play it?
I did not.
What did it end up at?
$150,450, Chuck.
So somebody won $75,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Let's hear from that person.
Yeah, they had a good weekend.
Somebody left the game. Yeah. Phillips in Bentonville. Hey, Phillip. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. So this last night, ever since it happened, you got people trying to say, who they want, which right now Rhett Lashley is if you listen to media, Rhett Lashley is the leading person. I think that kind of the Gus bus has kind of dwindled down. But here's what my thought is, and I want to know y'all's thought. You want somebody that understands the Arkansas, that understands the culture and all this stuff. And I get that Rhett Lashley is the man that, he's been in Arkansas, he's been in the SEC, he's been very successful at SMU, and, and all this stuff. But the dark horse that nobody's talking about that has the same, and I believe that has the same criteria as what Gus did, understanding Arkansas boy, also Rhett Lashley is, but his offense right now is being successful, and no one's talking about is why is nobody looking at bringing back Barry Lundy Jr.? He had success as a coordinator here. The only as a coach, he was one of the better recruiters. He's an Arkansas kid, understands the Arkansas culture, understands NIL. The only knock on him he wasn't he wasn't a coordinator. Well, he was successful at UTEP, and look what he's doing right now under Bielema. His offense just went out and beat USC. So why is he not getting him? I mean, do you think that that bridge is not burned? Do you think that he could be a dark horse for this job?
Sure, I think he could be a dark horse. I find it hard to believe they would go hire a first-year head coach again. A first-time head coach.
You can't afford to take a chance this time. You have to get this right. We've said that before.
By the way,
seen the consequences
we're fans
when they don't.
of Barry Lundy Jr.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I think Barry Lundy was born to coach the Razorbacks. I do. I think that's his destiny, and I think it'll happen. But I don't think it's going to happen now. Arkansas, in my opinion, you better go hire a proven head coach. You better hire a guy who has had sustained success, and you better hire someone that understands the SEC. Now, that's a big hire because, that's asking a lot. You make it sound simple. And it's not. Going out and finding a guy with all those qualities is very, very difficult to do. I think you've got to hire a head coach. Just having been around it from a distance, there's no substitute for having been there. You can tell when a guy's been a head coach and you can tell when he hasn't. Doesn't mean a guy who's not been a head coach can't be successful. Everybody's got to start somewhere in terms of being a head coach. But even at Arkansas, that is an overwhelming position. And in my opinion, you need to hire someone who's been down that road before.
I agree, 100%. 877-377-6963. Rod on I-40 at 725 on Monday. Go ahead.
Well, bye, Sam. That was coming. I'm not real anxious to blame Travis Williams for the defense. These guys kept Arkansas in the game. They kept us even with Ole Miss. You seen how that worked out. Kept them ahead with Memphis. You seen how that worked out. And those guys look flatter than beer had been left out of the fridge overnight open. There wasn't a spring. Those guys looked dead before they even started the game. And I think they're mentally just wore out, the defense is. And I can't really blame them. And, as far as Barry Lundy goes, has anybody looked at USC's record? They're not exactly setting the world on fire. So I wouldn't hold that up too much either. Indiana did a pretty good number on Illinois.
It is interesting how we think. If you're going to go Barry Lundy, why not just bring Bielema back? He's the head coach at Illinois doing all that right now, turning that program into a winner.
Please. We don't want to run this. We don't want to run the state out of.
Well, I'm saying it's interesting how people think. Like they want to go. Hope you get the allergies.
I was going to say, man.
It's interesting how people think, though, right? Like we're going to talk about, and again, we love Barry Lundy, but we're going to go get Barry Lundy. But let's just blow right by Bielema and what he's doing at Illinois, and let's go to the offensive coordinator. The coaching searches are fascinating to hear what people think because of the way they come at a certain person that they think could be a candidate for the job. As a former AD that was involved with the search here, John Fagg, who is, where is he now? Is he at San Antonio?
Texas Arlington.
Texas Arlington, that's right. He said, what people forget in a coaching search is you only get to hire one person. You don't get the bits and pieces of 5 different people and roll it into one thing. You get one person and you get everything
all
that comes with that person.
Yeah.
727 back in a minute. Happy Monday morning. You're right, Chuck. You're right. You're right.
You're not wrong, Chuck.
Because
that's
we don't
all I
want.
wanted to hear. That's really all I wanted to hear.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
WT Equipment is overstocked on new Bobcat equipment. The lots are packed and ready to move with special fall deals you don't want to miss. Bobcat is the industry leader, tough, reliable, and built for any job. Take your pick from compact track loaders, skid steers, excavators, and more, all backed by WT Equipment's trusted service and support. And don't forget, WT Equipment's Fall on the Lot community event is Saturday, October 4th from 12 to 4 p.m. Food, games, prizes, and family fun only at WT Equipment.
Truck Month is here at Chevrolet of Fayetteville, and the savings are big. Get up to $12,000 off new Silverados, up to $8,000 off Chevy 2500s, and up to $5,000 off Chevy Colorado. That's real money back in your pocket. Plus more inventory, more discounts, and better service than anywhere else in Northwest Arkansas. Stop by today and see Chris, Mark, and Denver at Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Chevrolet of Fayetteville. Together, let's drive.
Know what else makes you an Arkansas Razorback fan? Going to the University of Arkansas. How about playing football for the team?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Bart's over there fact-checking. Kind of ruined.
Just ruined the whole day for me. Has everything I've said on this show been fact-checked?
This would not have happened. This would not have happened.
Have you gone home and fact-checked everything I've said?
No.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Speaking of fact-checking, Pete Nakos at On3 is reporting that Travis Williams has been let go this morning, which I believe to be true.
That's another one you could
like
see
that.
coming.
Yeah.
Even if the head coach had not been let go Saturday, we could have expected after that for the DC to go.
That's exactly right. By the way, Hunter left it up to Bobby. Like, he didn't put Bobby in place and then say, oh, you need to do these things. He said, you're in charge and you run the program how you see fit and make the changes you see necessary. That's the way I understand how this is going, which isn't surprising.
It's the way it should be.
People have also brought up this question as to whether Bobby Petrino could be the full-time head coach beyond interim, because he was fired with cause back in 2013. And the answer to that question, 2012, thank you. The answer to that question is yes. When they approved the hire of him as an employee as the offensive coordinator, that was not specific to assistant or head coach. It was he can be an employee again. So it's my understanding, after making some calls yesterday, that there is no red tape that needs to be gotten through with Petrino to be the full-time head coach. Just, I know that's been brought up by quite a few people.
If you win ball games, there is no red tape.
Well, that would be true too.
You know,
Dave, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show from the Mid-Atlantic.
Got a big hurricane coming. Got a big hurricane coming, don't you?
Morning. I think it hopefully stays south of us.
Yeah, I hope so.
So big hire in the program, in the program's history. This is you have an if you have an opportunity to change the trajectory. If not, this could go off the rails very, very quickly for a long time. And I think you look at the recruits that this could impact, not only in the region, but particularly within the state. These kids don't have the loyalty to the program anymore. You bring in a big name, you get the program back on track, that changes. And I will say the apathy has set in, I think, for a lot of fans. You've got people who, with kids, married, wife's stomach always hurts and is tired in the evenings, if you know what I'm saying, and they don't want to go to games. It is just it's a sad state of affairs for the program, and we've got to get this right. And I don't know if that's Hunter. I don't know if that's the board or a new AD. This is a pivotal moment. I just want to get your all thoughts on that.
Yeah,
So,
it is a huge moment. And I'll say this, when you mentioned the board and Hunter and all that, they got to get everything lined up correctly. Politically, they've got to get aligned. People got to get on the same page. We got to quit fighting ourselves. And until that happens, and maybe you hire somebody, they come in and they can make that happen. But it's been my experience in the past, it's hard to get candidates that you really want interested if you don't have all those things.
The best thing that could happen for the Razorbacks is for Arkansas to go win some games during the rest of this season. If they'll go win some games during the rest of this season, we'll know who the head coach needs to be, and there will be money. It's amazing how a couple of wins can make everything okay. I've seen it happen before. People talk about we got to get it right. We're at a pivotal moment. Guys, we've passed that point many, many years ago. We've had so many we got to get it right hires that we didn't get right. I mean, you know, when people, it just goes from generation to generation. Every generation has that point where they say, this is a huge moment in our program's history. You know, so yeah, we're at a huge moment in our program's history. But there's not anything going on right now that a few wins won't solve. And I don't know if Petrino's the right guy to win those games or not, but I think based on what's going on right now, he's our best bet. I do believe that.
Yeah, here's some research for you, Bart. What other programs had as many coaching changes as Arkansas has since Bobby Petrino in the same period of time? Kaiser and Fayetteville. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Mississippi State comes to mind.
Good morning, gentlemen. How
Hey,
you doing?
Kaiser, doing all right. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. So I just got 2 names to lob to y'all real fast, and I'm going to get off here. I love listening to you boys daily. So what I haven't really been hearing a whole lot of our fan base, where is the talks, and is it even possible that we can bring in a Dabo Sweeney to Fayetteville? And if it's not, could we bring in somebody like a Tom Herman or a Dan Mullen, somebody who's had the Power 5 success, maybe gotten run off of their last job, but does have that backing and that experience and history proven that they could maybe make some kind of splash here in Fayetteville? Appreciate y'all, boys.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
I don't think those names are out of the question. Whether or not they would ever be real factors, I'm not sure about that. But I'm not dismissing any of those guys. I think you have to have someone that knows how to run a program. And there's a difference between coaching a team and running a program. There's a big difference. There are lots of guys out there that can coach a game. There aren't that many guys that can really run a good program. I hope they'll get somebody that understands how to run a program. And running a program means this is how we do it every day, all day, no exceptions.
Clarksville, home of Chuck Barrett. Alex, good morning. Alex, you're up. Whoa, Clarksville coming up empty.
Phone system
disappointing.
down.
Chance. Chance, you're up next. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. What's going on?
Hey, Chance.
Man, I got to say I've always been a Pitman fan. Hated to see it happen, but understand it. I'm behind Petrino all the way, and I got a question for Chuck. Since we've had Sam Pittman live from the Catfish Hole, are we going to have Bobby Petrino live from the Catfish Hole?
I'm assuming so. I haven't been told anything, and but I would assume so.
All right, man. Sounds great. Go Hogs.
All right, man. Appreciate the call. Now Pete Thamel reporting that Travis Williams, D-line coach Deke Adams, and co-defensive coordinator Marcus Woodson are all out.
Not surprised at all by that.
Who's the DC? If Marcus Woodson's also out?
I don't know. I don't know. We're going to find out today.
We were talking before we came on the show today, as we do, Chuck. And I won't go to this name now, but I was told yesterday, a particular defensive coordinator at another school, not in the SEC, that Petrino likes. And you and I were talking about it, and I said, well, there's no way somebody else is coming in from the outside to coach the defense. It's got to be somebody that's on the current staff or in the building, quality control, GA, somebody. And you said, well, you act like crazy things are already happening.
Yeah. Bill goes, that would be crazy. And I go, well, duh.
Hello.
Yeah.
All bets are off. Our next caller needs no introduction. He handles that himself. Good morning.
Big Keith up in the house. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Keith.
Hey, man. First of all, let me ask you a question. I don't know why, and I don't know, is there something that we can't do? Why can't we go after Gus Malzahn?
Well, they can.
His name's been mentioned. Yes, they could.
Okay,
they could go after him.
I've been wanting him for a while now. And for some reason they were always against him, or he wasn't wanting to come, or I don't know what happened. But anyways, that would be a good one because he's doing pretty good down there at Florida State. And then the other thing I was going to say, man, with this, with all this transfer and the money, this college games, my picks suck, man. I can only pick like 8 of them, 8 out of 10, man. I ain't getting none of them right no more.
I was wondering how you're doing.
We were concerned.
We were thinking about that. In the midst of all of this, we were thinking, wonder how big Keith's picks in those 6 and 10 and 18 parlays went this weekend.
Yeah. No, and I can do like 8 to 10, but that's it. There's too much, teams that's supposed to win don't win no more. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of volatility out there.
Yeah, and so I just, it's just not. I'm going to have to start betting only on 5 and 8 parlay.
Yeah, that'll get you.
All right, well, good luck, Keith.
All right, Keith.
All right, guys.
Have
a good one.
Hey, you. In the middle of all of it.
Broke Keith in the house right here for us.
How was your gambling week personally?
Right,
as the head coach gets fired and Bobby Petrino's back at the helm.
But what I really want to know is how you did on your parlays, Keith. I mean, let's get down to what's really important. Hey, I'll tell you what's really important is having a good ride. and you can always find one at Fayetteville Auto Park. They've got great brands, Honda, Acura, Chevy, Toyota, widest selection of pre-owned automobiles that you're going to find, and they treat you like family. And that's the reason that people keep coming back. It's why they've been in business for 25 years. When your car needs to be serviced, they'll make sure you got something to drive that day. You're not going to spend the afternoon there waiting on them to get it done while you're losing business. They understand all that. They're part of the community, too. They want you to do well. That's one of the reasons, and there are a lot of them, why they've been around as long as they have. But go check out their selection. I think you'll find that you like it, and you can go to their website, FayettevilleAutoPark.com.
Yeah, and I'm sure that we'll be in the Chevy of Fayetteville situation.
We will.
At some point
it's a big situation going on right now.
There is a big situation brewing. And again, 3 defensive staffers are out. Marcus Woodson, Deke Adams, the D-line coach, and defensive coordinator Travis Williams, according to multiple reports, and that also coincides with what we were expecting to have happen today. Bobby Petrino and Hunter Yurachek will meet with the media at noon. More of your calls coming up. It's a Reaction Monday, 7:44. Good morning.
Yeah, what's your point?
You want my point?
Yes, I asked for it. Make it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
The voice of the Razorbacks is Chuck Barrett, and he chose McDonald Eye Associates for his recent cataract surgery.
I went to McDonald Eye. I can see in a way I've not seen in a long time. And I'm looking forward to this football season because of that. Your eyes are a big deal. I don't care if you're a sports play-by-play guy or what you do. You have to have trust. My trust was developed because I knew they were listening to me.
For your best vision, trust McDonald Eye. Online and same-day appointments at McDonaldEye.com.
The Razorback Raffle is back. This raffle is a new and exciting way to support Razorback athletics, whether you're inside Razorback Stadium or calling the Hogs anywhere in the great state of Arkansas. Our inaugural raffle jackpots grew to nearly $500,000 last spring. Now you can be our next big winner, even if you're not in the stadium. Get your raffle ticket purchased to have a chance to win big right now at RazorbackRaffle.com.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is here for when you want real action, and the wait is over. Live racing is back. Every weekend brings big moments, big crowds, and your chance to feel the thrill of a big win. The holiday racing season begins Friday, December 12th, and runs through January 4th. Then, the excitement returns with the classic racing season, January 30th through May 2nd. It's racing, it's winning, it's everything you've been waiting for. Oaklawn Hot Springs. Join the fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When something goes wrong, a car wreck, an injury, mounting debt, or getting denied the help you deserve, it's hard to know where to turn.
That's when Cadell Reynolds shows up. This is a team that fights for Arkansans. Personal injury, disability, bankruptcy, they handle it all. And they know how to get results.
You've got enough to deal with. Don't try to figure it out alone.
Call Cadell Reynolds, 866-314-3728, or visit CadellReynolds.com.
Cadell Reynolds, make the right call.
Cutting corners is generally a bad idea. And when it comes to roofing, it's real bad. That's why Teamwork Roofing and Construction uses only the best materials, like Malarkey shingles, which perform better, protect longer, and are more sustainable. Residential or commercial. Got a complicated job? They've got the certified crews ready to deliver on time and on budget. You need a roof that's built on quality and powered by teamwork. Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Log on to teamworkbuilt.com and get a quote today. That's teamworkbuilt.com. When is the last time you thought, oh, the SEC's making an announcement today, and it's going to be good for the Hogs?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
me.
I think I have 1,100 subscriptions. I'm pretty sure. It is so ridiculous.
That guy subscribed to Hulu twice.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, here we go again.
Yep, we got them lined up, don't we?
Alex in Clarksville, go ahead.
Alex.
Come on, Alex.
Come on, Alex, man.
Alex, really?
Jeez, come on.
Almost twice.
He's out. He's out.
Wes in Cedarville.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I just have a comment and one question. My comment is I hope that the state of Arkansas gives Coach Pitman the respect and the love that he deserves. And on Bobby being the interim coach, I think Bobby truly feels like he owes the state, and I think he'll give us his best. I hope that's good enough. And my question is, will Missouri State have a coaching staff after today?
That's a great question. We were just talking about that in the break.
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I don't know.
Because that's Nick Petrino and Petrino's son-in-laws are at Missouri State.
Gotta fill some of these jobs. You know, Wes actually made a couple of that was a good call all the way around.
Yeah, it was.
I would equate Sam Pittman with Mike Anderson in that I think Razorback fans like him personally. They're not going to hate him. If he wants to live the rest of his life in Hot Springs, I think he'll be a vital part of that community, and they'll welcome him with open arms. Sam Pittman's a good man, and he left us better than he found us. And I know sometimes you watch a game and it's you don't think that way, but he did.
Yeah, and look, it's maybe people don't care to hear this, but it's just the truth. I mean, you rattle off names like I did a minute ago that are getting fired today, and they're just names. These guys, they have families. This is part of the business. It happens, but there's not a lot of joy in this. I mean, it really stinks that you got to get to this spot, but it's also a results-oriented business, and they didn't have the results, and that's pretty clear from what we watched play out. Jackson flipping. Jack, go ahead. Jack, you with us? Man, these guys get on hold and they fall asleep. JD's in Fayetteville. JD, good morning.
Bo, are you an idiot or what?
Oh, absolutely. How about you? Are you not? Just me?
I tell you, I just wanted to give you a soundbite, to be honest. I don't think you're an idiot. I love your show.
That's a good one, though. That's a good drop. Thank you. If we need more of that.
Hey, listen, I got several things I want to talk about today. One, what do you guys think? First of all, I'm tired of hearing about all these dumb, washed up, maybe average a year, 5, 6 winning game coaches. Let's be done with all that talk, all right? This next hire has to be a splash. It's got to be a splash, and we might not be hiring our forever coach, but we're hiring a coach that's going to get us the attention we need in this stage of our program. Two, I want to talk about, I think it's interesting, the timing of the firing of Pitman. I love him. I want to drink beer at the lake with him in Hot Springs, but I don't want him as our football coach. I think he's a great dude. He's a great granddad, whatever, but doesn't need to be a football coach. All right, so here's my hypothetical situation. Naming rights to the stadium coming up. You go to the Waltons and you say, hey, we'll give you the naming rights to the stadium. We'll give them to you. Just give us $10 million a year in NIL, pay for our coach. It's free. You can take it. All right, next thing. What about Art Browse? What about Art Browse?
That would be a splash.
Bring him back to football. Bring him back to football. He was exonerated by the NCAA. They built a new stadium at Baylor for him. Baylor had to pay him a retirement amount of money, and all he wants to do is coach football. Great football coach. He went out on top. He's not one of these washed-up names that had a long career and ended up winning 5 games at Mississippi State. As like Dan Mullins did. Bring back somebody that went on top. And now I'm going to hang up and listen. I love you guys. Love the show.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for the call. All right. Art Briles, first mention.
I did not anticipate hearing Art Briles' name today, I'll admit.
Almost 8 o'clock. It's quite a Monday morning here on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning. When it comes to watching games, nobody does it like Walk-Ons. Over 60 TVs at every location, and the food and drinks win. Mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine like po' boys and gumbo, plus fan favorites like the best burger you can get anywhere, and more draft beers and cocktails than you can count. Incredible food, wonderful service, and a viewing experience like none other. Walk-On Sports Bistro. We live for this.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit GoPaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal Price Check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
There's simply not a better shopping experience than Macadoodles. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Whether you're stocking up for a party, updating your bar, or just grabbing your favorites, Roger and the team are always there to help. Make the smart choice. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life. They're Bo's partner now, and I promise you, when you become involved with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they'll become your partners for life, too. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can always log on and check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
Chris in Fayetteville. You're on the news, weather, information station.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, we're full service, baby.
The Chuck and Bo Show. Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
If you're looking for one of these shows that just sort of eases into it in the morning, you're not quite awake for this. I mean, you might just start picking us up around 6:30 because we just dive right in.
Well, I've been up a while.
I'm not sure I'm ready for it. I'm talking to the person listening right now that their alarm goes off with the Chuck and Bo show.
Yeah.
By the way, that's half of America. I don't know if you've seen the ratings. That's half of America.
Astronomical.
It's Chuck and Bo, Fox News, and then whatever else.
And it's close at the top. Don't kid yourself.
The Chuck and Bo show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "What's heard on the Chuck and Bo show?"
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Time flies today.
Man. Multiple reports. We expected this. Travis Williams out as defensive coordinator. Deke Adams out as defensive line coach. Marcus Woodson out as secondary coach. Who's going to be coaching on defense when Petrino leads the Hogs out of the tunnel in Knoxville?
We'll find out today.
We'll probably find out today at noon when Petrino and Hunter Yurachek have a scheduled noon press conference. Here's Sam Pitman after the game.
We played terrible, and we couldn't get off the field defensively, and it's the same thing. It's the tackling. It's the coverage. At times, it's the off coverage that we're nowhere close to the guy, and then it's the man coverage where at times we leave him wide open. You know, it's the easy scores. It's the power play here at the end where we had nobody even close to the guy. That's on everybody. It's not just obviously on the players. That's on all of us.
That was hard. That was a hard way to end it right there. I said I'd be shocked if they came out and didn't have their best effort of the season. I was surprised. And then it made me wonder, well, why was I surprised? I just felt like they would have maximum effort. I mean, I felt like everybody knew that everything was on the line. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe it backfired on them. Maybe, because they didn't even look like they had looked previous to that. It looked way worse.
The defense was just really bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And I hate to say it because I know those guys were out there trying, and I know those guys that were coaching on that side of the ball were coaching hard. But they were lost. They were lifeless. And you know, I'm not saying anything anybody else hadn't said.
877-377-6963. We've been getting just a ton of calls and texts today, as you would expect. 8:05 Monday morning. It is September 29th. And who had did you have this in your bingo card, the whole thing? Any of it or the whole thing? This is just wild. I'm talking about Petrino coming back as the offensive coordinator. That was wild. Then this is now Bobby Petrino returns to the helm. A year ago, people were talking about, well, if there's a change, it won't be Petrino as the interim head coach. It'll be Travis Williams. He's not here anymore either.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, has that, if we just kind of go back for a second, what is the most surprising thing to you about this season?
The lack of defense. Lack of defense. I thought the defensive line would be better.
I thought the linebackers would be better.
Specifically to me, when I look at what's gone wrong on that side of the ball, and believe me, I'm no analyst, and so my opinion may be as wrong can be, but when I watch them play, they've just not been good enough up front. I mean, that's where it all starts, and doesn't mean they're not trying, doesn't mean they won't be, but so far they've just not been good enough up front.
Tim's in Memphis. Tim, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Tim.
How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, my man. And I love Sam Pitman, and I don't really like what happened. I think the really problem is the NIL. I think we have a bunch of Division II players that's playing on defense, and if you don't have the money to pay for players, I don't care who you bring in here. It's not going to matter. I mean, it's the product. You got the money to go buy a Mercedes, then you can go buy a Mercedes. But if you don't have the money to buy that, you may have to go get you a Chevrolet Impala. And I think that's what we have. I think NIL I think Yurchek told the truth when he was at the touchdown club, and I think people rejected that. But, if we're really going to be honest, I mean, just like when they brought the basketball coach in, they paid him and gave him a boatload of money to buy players. And that's the name of the game we're playing these days.
Yeah. It's a lot of things, right? Money by itself won't fix it. A coach by himself won't fix it. Those two things together, in alignment with the power brokers in the state, all of that together can fix it. But one without the other, or all three of those things, it's like a three-legged stool. The most important part of a three-legged stool? The one that's missing.
Yeah. No, you're right. Here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, you get into this chicken, which comes first, chicken or the egg? You got to win games. You've got to win ball games. And if you don't have the money to win ball games, you got to figure out how to do it so you'll get some money to win ball games. And that's a hard thing to do. If Arkansas can win some ball games over the course of the next couple of months, a lot of those things you're talking about will begin to happen, but none of it can happen. None of it will happen. None of it has a chance to happen unless you win a ball game. I mean, you've got to have that hope.
You know what wasn't talked about, Bart, in the post-game press conference?
What's that?
One-score games. Well, that was not brought up.
Yeah, well.
But I bring that up because I'm sorry, just a moment of levity. Yeah, sorry. Well. I bring that up because Petrino will make a difference, but will it be a difference in winning games? And are we going to be right back to this one-score game they played almost well enough to win conversation again? And will the tab of all those one-score games roll into that conversation? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. We should separate them. But I wonder if fans see progress without games being won, if it will be enough. Or if they'll be like, yeah, he's not the Bobby of old. Like, we got to get somebody else.
A first-year coach gets credit for one-score losses. Yeah. A sixth-year coach gets fired over one-year losses.
And
that's
just
kind of how it works.
And that's fair. But I just wonder, like, do we have the ability to evaluate Petrino starting from scratch here and understanding what he's got to do, what he's got to deal with? I think the athletic director will. But as we know, there's a lot of noise right now. And listen, we talked about how big this hire is, and it's always a big hire, but, like, has it ever felt more important? You know who it's important for? Hunter Yurachek. I mean, there's going, and I think he knows there's a lot riding on this for probably him.
There's a popular sentiment right now among some that he will not be the one to hire the next head coach in football. I've heard 2, 3, 4 people, even within the media, say that. I think he will hire the next coach.
I agree.
I think they've got that. I think they're mistaken.
Yeah.
In that, I don't think they've counted the votes right in terms of the board, and I think he will be the one that hires him.
Justin's in Rogers. Hey, Justin. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, good
morning.
What
a beautiful day in Arkansas. At least you guys got something new to talk about besides one-score games, right?
Well, that's true, I guess.
Yeah, there's no shortage of things to talk about.
Hey, I just wanted to get this thrown out there. I'm so tired of, I think it was the last caller was talking about not having enough money. That's just a lame duck excuse for a lame duck administration.
Well, it's really not, but I understand you being tired of hearing about it.
I guess what I'm saying is, do you think Mississippi State, do you think Indiana is just a wealth of do they just have more money than anybody that
Indiana's got a hell of a lot more NIL money than Arkansas does. I hate to break that.
Well, I guess that's a bad example. Yeah, you're right. But what I'm saying is we have JB Hunt. Everybody knows this. We have JB Hunt. We have Walmart.
But people people say that like do you even know what you're saying when you bring that up?
Companies don't give money. Walmart and J.B. Hunt, Tyson, they're publicly traded companies. They are not going to cut a check out of the Walmart till. Now, someone that works for Walmart, if they want to give their personal money, they can do that. Yeah. But people have this idea that Walmart's just going to write him a $10 million check out of general funds, and everybody's going to be okay with it. And that's not how it works.
Well, that's true, but that's not exactly what I was more trying to say. The way that you put it, yeah, I know. J.B. Hunt's just not going to. Well, he couldn't anyways because he's not alive anymore. But he's just, they're just not going to cut big checks. But how many you can drive through any parking lot? I've lived in this area my whole life. You can drive through any parking lot in Northwest Arkansas. You're going to see brand new Mercedes, brand new Audis, brand new Corvettes.
That's the Texas students.
That's Silverado for Chuck. But keep going. I mean,
I'm just saying.
Look, let's just cut to the chase
money
here.
guys.
Yeah, no, let's just cut to the chase. What you're saying, your point is there's money if they have the right coach. Is that what you're saying? If they get the right coach, then the money will follow. Okay. Well, that certainly happens.
Win more than 3 games a year, people will give money.
That certainly happened with basketball. Will it happen with football? I mean, look. There's a lot of money being invested in basketball right now. We can talk about, are you a football school? Are you a basketball school? Right now, from a percentage standpoint, because it's not the same amount of money, you're not talking about the same size team. But from a percentage standpoint, basketball is doing way better financially than football. Can you have both?
Well, we've talked about that before. I think you can, but you got to have somebody with a lot of money that's as enthusiastic about football as John Tyson and some of his friends are about basketball. And I say that respectfully. I mean, I'm glad they are, because they wouldn't be in the position they are in basketball right now without that. And you got to have that in football. You just do. You can say that you can win without money and stick your chest out, and we're going to, like Dabo does, we're going to do it our way. You're going to die on that hill. I mean, you are. There's just no way around it. You've got to have everything. You got to have money. You got to have a great coach. All your fans have got to be on the same page. All your administration's got to be on the same page. It takes everything, and it's a special mix. But to say that you can do it without one of the ingredients, no, you got to have everything.
And that's why I bring up the 3-legged stool example. You got to use this opportunity to do that now. This is not just about hiring a coach. You got to get this stuff right, all of it now, between now and the end of the year, if you're going to have the best shot to hit a home run with your football program. That's all got to come to fruition. We got to hit a break. We'll come back and take more of your calls coming up, maybe get to the Chevy of Fayetteville Situation Room, which is where Chuck got his Silverado. Over 200 new vehicles on the lot right now. But it's the people there and who you're doing business with that matters the most. They're going to take care of you. The Fayetteville Auto Park's been around for 25 years because of how they treat people and their relationships. You need a loaner, your car's in the shop for whatever reason, they're going to take care of you free of charge on that. Stop by the Fayetteville Auto Park. Check out their selection at Chevy of Fayetteville. Together, let's drive. You guys are part of my family. Everyone that listens to this show is just part of the Chuck and Bo family. We're building a community here.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
The voice of the Razorbacks is Chuck Barrett, and he chose McDonald Eye Associates for his recent cataract surgery.
I went to McDonald Eye. I can see in a way I've not seen in a long time. And I'm looking forward to this football season because of that. Your eyes are a big deal. I don't care if you're a sports play-by-play guy or what you do. You have to have trust. My trust was developed because I knew they were listening to me.
For your best vision, trust McDonald Eye. Online and same-day appointments at McDonaldEye.com.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Cutting corners is generally a bad idea. And when it comes to roofing, it's real bad. That's why Teamwork Roofing and Construction uses only the best materials, like Malarkey shingles, which perform better, protect longer, and are more sustainable. Residential or commercial. Got a complicated job? They've got the certified crews ready to deliver on time and on budget. You need a roof that's built on quality and powered by Teamwork. Teamwork Roofing and Construction. Log on to teamworkbuilt.com and get a quote today. That's teamworkbuilt.com. Today's been a strange day.
Yeah, we've had some struggles here and there. Let's just be blunt. Can we be blunt?
Well, it's 50-50 at best.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
And I include myself in this. We like to think we know what we're talking about, but sometimes we do miss the mark. I mean, sometimes we do.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
So many things to pay attention to. Right now, it's who's going to coach the defense. Travis Williams.
I don't know.
Deke Adams, Marcus Woodson, all reportedly out. We'll hear more from Petrino and Yurchek today at noon. Bill's in Bentonville. Bill, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show. It's 8:20.
Good morning, Chuck and Bo.
Good morning.
Nice to talk to you.
Good to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I wanted to bring up two subject matters. They're the same, of course, meaning AD and HC. Okay. I have an issue, a little issue with Yurchek right now, and I have for a little while, especially since after the Little Rock fiasco. And I just feel that there just might be another candidate out there. I think that, number one, could maybe help raise a whole lot more money. I think he has a great personality. He has a love for Arkansas still today. Watch him on CBS all the time. And that's Houston Nutt. And I'd love to see an opportunity there, possibly. And then reference John Gruden. Now, Bobby Petrino, I love Bobby. And I don't have anything against him whatsoever. I was sad to see him go to start with. But I'm just thinking that John Gruden, I don't like dismissing him as that it's a not possible thing. We brought John Calipari here. We can bring anybody here. It's like anything else. Money talks and, life walks. And, that's just
Calipari was also looking for a landing spot. I mean, the run was up at Kentucky, and he was looking for a landing spot, and everything just kind of lined up perfectly.
Also, the best recruiter in all of college basketball.
Yeah.
And that came with him, along with everything else, with the support and the money and all that.
You're right in that the money will come with the right guy in football, but I you may know something I don't know, but I find it impossible to believe John Gruden's even going to be in the running.
Let's just talk about it for a second. If John Gruden wanted to come to Arkansas and Arkansas had the money to pay him, let's just say hypothetically, that's where you are. Do you really believe that John Gruden's the right guy to change where Razorback football is? And I'm not arguing that one way or the other. I'm just asking. Is that the move that's the Cal equivalent, if that's what you're going to compare it to? The guy hasn't coached in college. I mean, you can say it doesn't matter.
Just because
I think it does.
Well, yeah, and just because his name may be known nationally as much as John Calipari, I mean, there's no comparison in terms of the success they've had as college coaches. And look, just because a guy's great on TV doesn't mean he's going to be great as your coach. Big difference.
Shorty and El Dorado, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, gentlemen. How's everyone this morning?
Doing good. All right. What's up? What's on your mind?
I'm not going to touch the money issue or nothing like that because that's way above me. But my deal is I'm old school, and back in the day, you got motivated to play ball. There was no money or nothing involved. You were motivated to play ball, and you wanted to play ball. And I know a lot of that is coaching too, and I do hate it for Pitman, but the past 3 games, I have just seen hardly any motivation, especially out of the defense. And do you think with new personnel that could change, or?
Generally, when you have a change, it gives you a shot in the arm short term, and whatever problems you had before tend to resurface down the road. I think Arkansas needs to go win a game, and that's obvious. But I mean, just winning a game changes everything, and I'm not sure where that's going to come. But Tennessee's going to be their first chance.
It'll be interesting to see how the team responds to Petrino.
They will. Now, look, there's in the modern era when a coach comes in, you've got the portal thing going on, and I'm not saying the roster is going to be exactly like it is right now when they play Tennessee. Might be, I don't know. But I would expect there to be a better effort. That's the one thing that you can change, and it doesn't cost any money to change it, and I would expect that to happen.
Nick Perry, is he the lone defensive coach that is still on the staff as we sit here today?
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Yeah. So they fired the defensive coordinator and the co-defensive coordinator, according to multiple reports, which we believe to be true.
Well, he didn't fire him without having their replacements already.
Well, you would think.
Care of.
Is Todd Grantham on that list? Are we going to get a coach that was somewhere else?
He's available.
Jeff is in Farmington. Hey, Jeff, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys. I know y'all sat around all day yesterday afternoon struggling on what you're going to talk about today.
Yeah, we had to have 2 meetings.
Yeah. Hey, Bo, I'm a Razorback fan, man. I'm going to root for him every game. I hate it for Sam. I think Sam is a great guy. I'm excited. I think we got a coach on the sidelines now. It's going to chew on somebody, or it's a player, or a coach, or a referee. But I keep going back to thinking, if I'm going to get beat, I'm going to get beat with 11 guys that are going to fly to the ball, going to hustle. It may not be my best 11 players, but they're going to be the 11 that give me the best effort. And I'll be lying to you if I told you I'm not ever. I'm excited, man. I'm ready. Let's go play Tennessee. Guys, enjoy your show. Y'all have a good day.
Well, that's why they make the move, to make you feel like that, make it, anybody that has a desire to go to pivot and fresh slate. Let's go. And that's why. And that's why for people that we had a few calls early in the show that why are you wasting $3 million? Why didn't you just let them coach longer and save $3 million? Well, because you can't afford to.
One thing that I think you've got to understand, though, you can't just yell at a player and suddenly he's motivated. It doesn't work like that. You can't just yell at a referee and suddenly he's going to give you all the calls. It doesn't work like that.
People do want to see that on television.
That's exactly right. That's one of the reasons Petrino's popular is he yells at everybody the same way the guy on the couch wishes he could yell at him. Yeah. And I understand all that. The question is going to be, do they believe in him? I believe they do. And that's just from having been around it some. You can tell when players believe in a coach and when they don't. I believe that they have belief in Bobby Petrino and his ability to help them win ball games. If they'll buy into that, I'm not saying this thing's going to turn around in a miracle this year because I don't believe that. But I do believe they'll be better than they've been.
Mario is in Indiana. Man, we're hitting different parts of the country
all
today.
Over America.
Mario, you're on the Chuck and
what's going on, fellas?
Hey,
so I've been watching both of y'all. Love what y'all do for the state of Arkansas. I'm an Arkansas Razorback diehard fan. Through in and throughout, watched them in Iraq, Korea, wherever. So I've been keeping up with the Razorbacks. Now, saying all that, I see that they got Bobby Petrino as the head coach again.
Mm-hmm.
This morning, after I left the donut shop, I get a text message, a notification from ESPN saying our defensive coordinator, the whole defensive staff, except for Nick Perry, is gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, is Bobby Petrino setting himself up to be the head coach by making those moves, or is he just clearing house for the next person coming in?
Well, he wants to be the head coach long term.
He's making moves that he thinks will help him win now.
That was another interesting thing in the press release. You don't always see that, where the press release includes Bobby Petrino is the interim head coach and has made it known he wants to be considered for the full-time job. That's not a daily occurrence when a coach is let go that they sort of announce that. Not sort of, they did announce it in the press release. We're brought to you in part by Oaklawn. Join the fun at Oaklawn, Arkansas's only casino resort. Live racing, Chuck, just 3 months away.
I know.
From returning to Oaklawn.
December 12th.
2 seasons. Holiday racing season, the 12th through January 4th. And then they start up a second season, which is more of the classic racing season, Friday, January 30th. So make your plans accordingly. Headliner Entertainment is going on at the Event Center as well. The Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band with Bobby Rush coming up in October. Comedian Whitney Cummings. And more. Just log on to Oaklawn.com, get complete details. And don't forget to download the Oaklawn Sports app in the Google Play or Apple App Store. New customers earn up to $1,000 in bonus bets. Bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports. It's 8:30. Good morning. The Chuck and Bo Show.
You can tell I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life. They're Bo's partner now, and I promise you, when you become involved with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they'll become your partners for life, too. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can always log on and check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
High school sports in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley have never had a bigger stage. I'm Alyssa Orange, host of the Varsity Vibe podcast, and every week we'll be bringing you the stories, highlights, and moments that matter most to our communities. Don't miss a beat. Subscribe to our newsletter, check out the Varsity Vibe podcast, and follow us on social media for the latest scores and spotlight features. Get it all at varsityvibearkansas.com.
Particularly in the South, I'm not sure there's a title that carries more weight than coach. Maybe preacher.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I don't know much about new items, really. I mean, I go to the store. I see lots of things that baffle me.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
All right, if you're dealing with gutter issues, we've had some rain, we've had some stuff going on, and if you've got problems, let us talk to you about hog trough gutters. Make sure that, first off, you're dealing with a good company, and you can know that and you can feel that when you deal with hog trough gutters. They're a local company. They've been around for 30 years. They provide high-quality gutter and drainage solutions, fully licensed and insured, seamless gutters made on-site. 20-year warranty. All sizes and styles of gutters are available. So you can trust them to handle any project, big or small. They also specialize in trenching, French drains. They'll keep your property protected from water damage. So check them out at hoggutters.com.
877-377-6963. Everybody's got a name that they want to throw out there, it seems like. If it's not going to be Petrino long-term, who will it be, or who should it be? And Bart's in the Chevy Fayetteville
Let's go to
situation.
The numbers. Let's get some numbers.
What is one thing you got to have, Bart, to win in this league, according to your research?
Well, look, Arkansas better hire a coach who has prior experience in the SEC. That's the bottom line. It's really a non-negotiable if you want to be successful. And I say that because when you look at the history of the league since 1992, and really looking at the 12 teams since the league expanded in 92, not worrying about A&M, Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma. They're too new to the league. But if you look at those 12 teams, 6 have won the SEC title, 6 have not. The 6 who have not, Arkansas, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, of course. Of those schools, they have not a single one of them has ever hired a coach without prior SEC experience, and that coach go on to have a winning record in conference play at that school. The only coaches who have had winning records in conference play at those schools by the time their tenure was over had prior SEC experience. It could have been as a head coach, could have been as an assistant coach, could have been, whatever. But if you don't have that, you have no chance. Now, that's not a guarantee. Right? Obviously, Sam Pitman had prior SEC experience. There have been a number of coaches.
But he was a first-year head coach.
Right.
First-time head coach.
Houston Nutt at Ole Miss was a guy who had prior SEC experience, obviously, as Arkansas's head coach. There are a lot of guys. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it does mean that if you don't hire somebody with prior SEC experience, it means it's not going to happen.
I'm looking at these lists that ESPN writers and the Athletic writers have put out, and they're, a lot of the usual suspects that include, Rhett Lashley, which I'm a big Rhett Lashley fan, but if I'm Rhett Lashley, why am I leaving SMU? I've got everything I need there.
It's a heck of a lot easier job.
I've got a great recruiting base. I have the financial support, and I've got the support of my president and AD. And I feel great about my job.
Well, and look, I've got nothing against, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form, belittling what's happened at SMU. But, guys, there's a difference of being a head football coach at SMU and being a head football coach at Arkansas. There's a difference, a big difference. I'm talking about managing the program. And I like Rhett. I think he's done a great job at SMU, and he's got a good situation down there. But I would question, respectfully, whether he's ready to be an SEC head coach. That's a huge, huge jump. And I don't know that people really – I don't know that until you see it, you really have a full appreciation for that.
Yeah, I think he is. But I get your – it's a fair question. Let me look at a couple other names. Gus Malzahn, Petrino, Deion Sanders, Jeff Traylor, Tulane's John Summerall, Memphis's Ryan Silverfield, who I think will have a lot of job opportunities after this season. One name that's not being mentioned by anybody that I've seen, and I'm a little surprised by this, is Barry Odom.
I think he's too closely tied, or I would wonder if he's not too closely tied to the coach that just got dismissed. I don't know how else to put it. Barry's a good coach. He'd do a good job.
Well, you talk about somebody that has experience in the SEC.
Oh, yeah, no question.
And has
they
spent
could do
time,
a lot worse.
Has spent time at Arkansas. I would put him on, if I was picking a list that included Petrino today, I would have Barry on it. I'd have Red on it, maybe Gus. What do you like about Malzahn, if it got to that?
I think enough time's passed. I think enough time has passed where a lot of the division, look, Houston Nutt's popular again. 15, 20 years ago, it was not that way. There are factions in our fan base that do not want Gus still, but I think it's a smaller faction than it's been in previous years. I do think if that's the direction they go, people will be okay with it. But I question whether or not that will happen. I just don't know.
We went to the Chevy at Fayetteville Situation Room. We haven't had time to do anything today, really. So what a weekend it was in college football outside of Razorback Stadium. I mean, Alabama went into Georgia and won. Oregon went into Penn State and won. The Ryder Cup was fascinating on Saturday, too, by the way, or on Sunday.
Kirby Smart's an interesting story, guys. He's 107-13 overall, 1-7 against Alabama. When did they start saying Kirby Smart can't beat Alabama? They fired Mark Richt because he couldn't win 11 games. He only won 10. And now they did get better. They have gotten better under Kirby. But for whatever reason, he struggles to beat Alabama.
So what happens with the transfer portal here for Arkansas now?
Well, I don't know.
Do they lose guys?
There's a 30-day window that opens, I guess, yesterday, where players can transfer out of the program at any time in that 30-day window. That doesn't mean they can go play for somebody else this year. But they can.
So we don't even know what the roster is going to look like when you play Tennessee.
And I suspect it'll look different. Look, you don't. I don't think. One of the realities of the situation is that when you let go of the majority of your defensive staff in the transfer portal era, you may lose some defensive players too. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch, but. There's just so much unknown right now. Virtually everything we're saying, not virtually, but everything we're saying regarding coaching in the future is speculative. We'll find out more later today. But, there's a chance some of these guys could go into the portal.
Bart, clarification question on your SEC experience.
Yeah.
You're talking about before the league expanded. You're talking about 6 programs that have won a championship versus 6 that haven't. And the 6 that haven't have tried to hire coaches without SEC experience, and it's never worked one time from all of your research.
In terms of having a winning record in conference play.
In conference play.
There might have been moments or whatever, but yeah.
Hey, Walk-Ons is a great place to watch Monday Night Football. It's a great place to watch Sunday football, the Red Zone, the NFL Sunday Ticket. And anything you can imagine during a Saturday of college football, it's all right there. I was watching the Ryder Cup, the games after the Arkansas game on Saturday, and ask about Flight by Yuengling when you're there. 95 calories. It's the next generation of light beer. Tastes like a Yuengling, but it's a light beer. Raise your game. Raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. It's 8:44 Monday. Good morning. Chuck has a little bit of a bad habit of getting on Facebook and buying things.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Football season's here, and Flight by Yuengling is the light beer built for game days. Tastes like a Yuengling, but it's a light beer, and only 95 calories. Flight raises the bar for what a light beer should be, and now it comes in a 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle and skinny cans. Perfect for tailgates, watch parties, or just kicking back after the game. Pick it up at your favorite store or ask your bartender. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
When something goes wrong, a car wreck, an injury, mounting debt, or getting denied the help you deserve, it's hard to know where to turn.
That's when Cadell Reynolds shows up. This is a team that fights for Arkansans. Personal injury, disability, bankruptcy, they handle it all. And they know how to get results.
You've got enough to deal with. Don't try to figure it out alone.
Call Cadell Reynolds, 866-314-3728, or visit CadellReynolds.com.
Cadell Reynolds, make the right call.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Are your gutters ready for fall? Leaves are coming, and that means it's time to protect your home. At Hogtroff Gutters, they install high-quality leaf guards that actually work. Don't waste money on the cheap guards from big box stores that clog up, and don't get stuck paying triple the price with those big national companies. With Hogtroff, you get the best of both worlds: professional installation, premium aluminum, and stainless steel guards, as well as a 20-year warranty. Give them a call today to schedule your free inspection, or visit hoggutters.com.
There's no better shopping experience than you're going to find at Macadoodles or at Guess Who in Bentonville. And every Wednesday is Wine Down Wednesday. 15% off every bottle of wine in the store, even if it's already on sale. But when it comes to selection, amazing prices, and unbeatable customer service, Macadoodles and Guess Who in Bentonville is second to none. Wine, beer, and spirits. Stock up for your next party, or just stop by and grab your favorite. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista, and Guess Who in Bentonville. It's stunning to hear every 20 minutes a child is diagnosed with a critical illness. But we can help. Grant life-changing wishes with Waiters for Wishes and the Razorback men's basketball team. It's Tuesday, September 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Walk-Ons in Fayetteville. This private ticketed event lets you take photos, get autographs, challenge your favorite hog to a Papa Shot, and bid on silent auction items, all benefiting Make-A-Wish Mid-South. Tables are limited and going fast, so reserve yours today at midsouth.wish.org. So I spent yesterday, you mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I haven't drank alcohol since '96 when I wet willied my boss in both ears at the Christmas party. We're on the way home, and my wife said, "You know what it is?" I said, "Yeah, it's time to stop drinking." She goes, "Yeah, it is."
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Well, this has been a very fast show today, and I'm sure we're going to have a week of them. And we're going to get more today from Hunter and from Bobby Petrino. It looks like 3 coaches have been let go on the defensive staff, including the defensive coordinator, Travis Williams, co-defensive coordinator, Marcus Woodson, and defensive line coach, Deke Adams. who's going to coach the defense? That'll be a question I know Petrino will field today. Eric is in Fort Smith. Eric, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Morning, fellas. Got a quick question for you, and I'll get off here and listen. I know there's a lot of talk about who is going to be coaching Arkansas, and do you think the higher-ups are going to be choosing a pre-existing coach, trying to nab them from another program, or do you think it would be better to, I don't know, maybe look at all the retired coaches who, are in retirement, try to bring in one of those fellas out of retirement? I might have to pay a little more, but, get the experience of a retired general at the helm, it might work better. Anyway, that's all I had. I just want to know your thoughts.
Okay, retired coaches. Who would you take? Saban? Urban Meyer?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd take Saban right now.
Urban Meyer? Would you take Urban Meyer?
Right now.
Okay, who else is in this category? There aren't many. Are there?
That's
it?
End of list, I think.
That's pretty much it? Rick Neuheisel?
Yeah.
I like Rick a lot.
Snatch him away from Mexico.
Yeah.
Gundy's available.
Yeah, Gundy? Yeah, Gundy's retired.
Yeah.
I don't think Gundy's retired.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he says he's going to work.
Yeah.
He's available.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to say we
that's
want
not
you.
the direction.
I do think it's interesting when we'll have this conversation all week is, are we going to go into this mode of who can you get and so you'll settle for this, or you got to go find this up and coming whatever, and you got to, or are they going to get what they need to get together to make a play on whomever they think the absolute best hire is?
I think you got to let these 7 games play out.
That's true.
We got over half the season left to go. Every time, here's how it's going to go. Every time Arkansas loses, we're going to take a bunch of calls on names that we've not heard of. First time they win, it's going to be, I think it ought to be Bobby Petrino.
Yeah. And there's people that say that today.
I know there are.
And how much does the win-loss record the rest of the way impact that? Or are we going to be able to look beyond that? Beyond whether it's a win-loss situation.
I think overall performance, wins and losses are part of that. But overall performance, how you win, how you lose, I think all that stuff comes into play.
Bruce. No, it's Shane. Shane, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Go ahead.
Morning, guys. Love the show. Thanks for having me.
Morning.
Hey, I argued this with my brother the other day, and this is a name I want to throw out there. I think he's a player's coach. I think he gets a lot out of his players, and if he can do it where he's at, I think it would be good here, and that's Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. But I'll hang up and hear your thoughts.
If I'm Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, I feel like I've sort of got going what I wanted to get going there. And it seems like he's got a ton of support financially that nobody else has really had there.
He's got money there.
They've got more NIL money than Arkansas does right now. Vanderbilt does. They had a guy give them $100 million.
There's a reason,
and they don't have to report
is
anything.
Nice all of a sudden.
Yeah, they don't have to report anything. I mean, they're a private school; they can do whatever they want.
Let's maybe we'll get into this more tomorrow. But let's. Here's a topic. Do you think Bobby Petrino can do it? I'm not talking about how many wins they get this year. Do you think Bobby Petrino can have similar success to the success he had back when he was fired with cause in 2012?
I believe he can have success here, yes. I believe in Bobby Petrino as head coach. Now, whether or not it's going to be exactly like it was before, I don't know.
Well, exactly is whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a matter of because you've got to have someone who understands how to win in today's college football and in the state of Arkansas.
He can win. I don't have any doubt about that. He can win. Now, whether or not it's all going to come together, there's so many things right now that aren't really indicative of what a normal season's like. I know that. But he can win.
His last year as a head coach was 3 years ago. That was at Missouri State. His last year at a power conference school as a head coach was 2018 in Louisville. So there is a little difference in where you are today with him. And he opens the job firing 3 guys on the defensive
He's
staff.
a highly motivated man right now. I think he wants to do this very well, and I think he will.
We'll be back and try again tomorrow with a lot more to talk about. Have an enjoyable Monday. Chuck and Bo Show. I love a day or weekend at Big Creek Country Club in Mountain Home. The golf, the people, the hospitality, and the events they host always hit the mark. And members enjoy it all. State-of-the-art practice facilities, food, beverages, a big pool with a snack and beverage bar, tennis and pickleball courts, and they can even book you an exclusive fly fishing trip. There's no initiation fee. And for out-of-towners, a membership is only $100.